Hello, traders. What's up? This is Matt with Conservative Trades. Hope everyone's doing all right today. Today actually ends my winning streak. As of yesterday, I had 10 consecutive green days. And today, as you can see, I'm ending in the red. And it's okay. It's a small amount. It's an amount that I don't mind parting with. And I really didn't trade too terribly too much today. I mean, I probably have about 40, $50 in commission. So I'm probably ending the day down right around $100 after fees and commissions. So not bad at all. But you know what? I tell you what, I was really hoping to keep the green winning streak going. And but I tell you what, it is what it is. It's history in the making. I think the 10-day winning streak is the longest winning streak I have performed here on the channel, we'll say. It's fun, because it gives me something to work towards breaking again. It gives me another goal to work towards, I should say. It's a record that I want to break here on the channel. So I definitely want to work towards that. And for those of you who typically join me in the live stream, maybe we can make a game out of it. Maybe we can all, take notes and tally up our winning streaks. And as a matter of fact, there was a guy in one of our regulars who comes by in the live stream every day here on the channel, said that today actually marked his 12th green day in a row. So right now, I've got something to work towards. I've got a goal to meet. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into the trades here. So today's lesson, by the way, is going to be about following rules and why it is so incredibly important to follow your rules and follow the plan. Okay? Because if you'll notice, the biggest loss that I have on the day here is on MRSN. Twitter's a close second, but Twitter I actually tried trading multiple times, and I just couldn't get a good read on Twitter. And it's, I should have known better, because Twitter is typically like that anyway. Twitter kind of has my number. It's just one of those stocks that, sometimes I've done well on it, but there's been many times that it has faked me out. And, the only reason I really decided to jump on it today was because of all of the news and hype and all the stuff kind of going on right now with Twitter. There's a little bit of pressure being laid on Twitter right now, just with all the drama that's in the news and all the politics around it and that sort of thing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just do a Google search. I'm really not going to use this time to get too deep into the fundamentals. But the fact of the matter is as traders, we do check fundamentals to some degree. We watch the catalysts. We kind of make a general assessment of what a stock could do based on those fundamentals, but then everything after that is pretty much all about the charts. And, if I'm being completely honest, Twitter wasn't showing me too much in the charts for me to take these trades. And so I think I really was trading more of the fundamentals when, again, it's, Twitter was strong this morning. I was expecting a sell-off, point blank. And based on the fundamentals alone, I kept trying to short it. Now, I did call Twitter well on the second trade that I took on, or maybe it was the third trade that I took on it. But my timing was just a little off. And that's a little something that I'm going to talk about today as well. But when I talk about how important it is to follow our rules, this $163 loss here on MRSN shouldn't even be here today. It shouldn't even be here today. I should be ending well into the green, at least $100 into the green, and maybe even more than that, because it also would have affected how I traded some of these other stocks. It was one of those things where MRSN, I was in on MRSN, I was in on Twitter, wasn't doing well on Twitter, obviously. And at one point, I think it was down like $99 on Twitter. And I jumped on MRSN because I had set an alert. Okay, but there was a note that I placed for myself in the alert. A lot of times when I set alerts, and I'll just show you, if you guys have Lightspeed Trader, you can do the same thing. You can just go here to the gear icon, click on alerts, and what I'll normally do, and all this stuff is posted to the channel. You guys can go back and check out the live stream. I did all of this pretty much in pre-market, but I'll type in the ticker symbol, MRSN. I'll put a price point. I forget what the price point was, but let's just say it was like 1850 or whatever, and put it on the bid. And then I'll write a little note to myself. And the note that I wrote to myself today was, I marked out a place where there was going to be a critical break below, I don't know, I think it was like 1830 or something like that, or 1837. And I said, something about must have strong volume or something like that. And I added it. And so when it went off, this was the message I got. It popped up. It said, again, you can go ahead and you can go back and look at the live stream. The big notation box or whatever you want to say popped up here. The alert box popped up, and I saw that MRSN was breaking down through that level. It was actually 17. It was actually 1677 is where the alert went off. And what I was going to be looking for, what I was anticipating, is I was anticipating MRSN to finally start getting a sell-off down to these levels, and I really thought we were going to get that. I really did, because here in pre-market, it had tried to make its way up, and it was meeting a lot of resistance here, and it just got sold off. And as a matter of fact, if you look here, there was even a big candle that tried to get bought up here again and got slammed back down. So this looked very bearish to me. But when I came in, when the alert went off, I came in, and the only thing is there wasn't a lot of volume. It was going in the direction that I thought it would. The chart pattern looked good. The bearishness of this looked good to go short, but the volume wasn't there. There was not a ton of volume, and it was very spready. It was very spready. It was being very thinly traded, and that can be very dangerous on stocks just like this, because it doesn't take much to cause a short squeeze. It doesn't take much for the stock to get bought up. And obviously, you can see here as it started squeezing up, the volume did start coming in more and more. But when I say light volume, if we broke it down to the 1 minute chart, and it's going to be a little difficult to see, it's hard to zoom in on these charts with light speed, but you can see here, it's just piddling around a little. It's just piddling around. And even here, just the volume had completely died off in this section here. But here's the thing, I needed to see much stronger volume than this. I needed to see, we're talking like the volume that we had back here. This is the kind of volume that you want to see on a stock like this. You want to see a lot of volume coming into the market, at least, 1 million shares, at least 800K shares plus. And we weren't getting that. Look at the volume here compared to back here. Okay. It just wasn't a lot. And, but I tried to go short. And then what happened? I ended up having to stop myself out. It never even reached the 1637 level. And that's the other thing. Typically I'll let it go. Sometimes I will jump in anticipation of it breaking that level, but I'll watch it for a little bit and I'll make sure that it actually is continuously and gradually making its way down towards that level on strong volume. I didn't do any of that. I came here. I was probably, a little just trigger happy. Because maybe losing on Twitter a little bit. And I just went ahead and just jumped in. But I took half my shares off here as it started fighting back against me. So that did reduce some of what the loss would have been. But when this candle got bought up here, why I added in, I don't know. I probably, and I should go back and check out the live stream and just kind of listen to maybe what I was talking about at the moment, but it's very possible that I was still banking on this candle here, the fact that this just got slammed down, and I might have thought to myself, this is thinly traded, this is just a temporary short squeeze, it's probably going to come back down, but it never did, and so I ended up getting out some more of the shares here, and then I got out the rest here, and I took this loss, but the fact of the matter is once again, had I followed my rules and waited for much greater volume and waited for much greater confirmation down towards the 1637 level, this trade might have gone in a whole different direction. But I would have never incurred this kind of loss. I mean, this was right out the gates today, guys. And honestly, if I'm being completely transparent about it, I've had such a great last couple of weeks of trading, and this month has been a great month for me, and I'm doing really well. And I was kind of being, I was kind of just throwing money at the wind, in a sense. And it's not something that I typically do. But it was kind of like, why not? Why not? One of those why not trades. Like, I'm doing so well. What does it matter if I lose a couple $100? But you know what? That's not how we need to think. As professional traders, as professional career traders, we don't need to be throwing money at the wind. That's what gamblers do. And we're not gamblers. A lot of people think that we are. A lot of people who lack a great understanding of what day trading is actually about, they think that we're gamblers, and truthfully, that kind of was a gambling move. That kind of was a roll of the dice. I did not wait for confirmation. I did not follow my rules. Okay. And if you want to be a serious professional retail day trader, you will set your rules and you will follow them. Now, look, we all make mistakes, and we all mess up. We all have those times where we don't follow our rules and we do kind of maybe just take a roll of the dice. I mean, that does happen even among the most professional day traders. Okay. Sometimes you just want to take a shot at a stock, but I just feel like I need to call myself into a little bit of accountability with that. And, so anyway, so all that to say, moving on, we come over here to Twitter, same thing, like I said earlier, I was more so just trying to trade the fundamentals. I thought Twitter's going to get a drop today. And I saw that it was below this moving average, the 9 EMA, and I thought, man, we could just make our way down here. I know we could, especially with the news, especially with the pressure Twitter's starting to get and all that stuff. And I was just really banking on that. But there was nothing in the technicals that was telling me otherwise. As a matter of fact, the SPY wasn't showing the most strength coming out of the gates this morning. It was actually having a little bit of a sell-off. And it had broken down through VWAP. And the SPY, as a matter of fact, I'll just show you right here, it had broken down through previous day close. So SPY was doing that, and Twitter was doing this. What was I thinking? Right? So that's why you shouldn't just trade fundamentals. But this was a very powerful move. But I took a stab at it, and I went ahead and got out. I didn't let it go all the way up here. But then it came back up. It came up here, and I saw this as a good area of potential resistance. Okay, it had acted as resistance here, became support in here, a little bit of resistance here, a little bit of support here, and so I just thought, you know what? Why not? Take a shot. I mean, this was not so much a roll of the dice type of move. This actually, I really thought, especially the SPY was weak, and I was thinking, maybe this was just a massive short squeeze. Maybe there were so many people expecting Twitter to get hammered today that people are just getting squeezed out right here. And I thought, at least we could probably come back and test VWAP. But I went ahead and said, if it continues to break out, I'll get out, and I did. So I followed my rules on this trade. That to me was a legit trade. Now here is a trade where it was a good move, but I was just late to the party. I really was. I came in, we'll say this, my timing was off. I was a little too early to the party, okay? But so Twitter had fought around these levels, and I saw that this really genuinely was becoming resistance. It was not able to break back out above it, right? And again, pulling it out and looking at these previous levels where everything lines up, it just looked like a really good spot. And guess what? It started coming down, right? Started coming down, and it broke through VWAP, and I waited for a retest, and it had a VWAP fake out breakout right here. You can see it came up, and the bears slammed it back down. Couldn't make it back over. So finally rolled, started getting crushed right here, and I went short at the break of this level right here because I thought, okay, this is it. This is the move. But what happened? Twitter got bought right back up. And look what time it is, guys. Look what time it is. Look down here. This was around 12:30. Okay. Now, we all know that during the lunch hour, and it's not like this all the time. I mean, there are some stocks that are traded by retail traders all through the day, right? And they continue to make great moves, a lot of volume, a lot of momentum all through the day. But Twitter was clearly lacking in volume here, and it was clearly being controlled by the algorithmic trading bots. Okay. And that's all that happened here. But I did think to myself, maybe it could, because it couldn't quite get above VWAP. So I said, maybe I should add, and maybe it will get a VWAP rejection. And by the time lunch hour's over and retail traders start coming in, it'll start getting a move down. But what happened here? It made a move all the way up here, and I said a breakout. I said I'm going to get out or stop out if it breaks 32.30, and it did. And so I got a little bit of slippage, but I got out at 32.32. Came up here, retested all of this previous area of resistance, and this is what's even more frustrating because I thought about having my stop at 32.50. I thought to myself, man, it should need to break past all of this. But I went ahead and just got out here because I figured, you know what, knowing my luck, it'll break out through here, and it'll break out through here, and it'll make all-time highs. So I did control it, but I was just late, or I was just a little early, because then here's where the party came in. And attempted to stay up again, couldn't do it. Same move that I was looking to happen back here. A retest of VWAP and then eventual rollover. Look here, this is where it did it. A retest of VWAP, couldn't maintain above it, and then just rolled over. And this came in largely due to what the SPY was doing towards the end of the day. So good trade idea, but just late. And that happened on NVIDIA too. Now, NVIDIA, I made about $70 here, you can see. And so I'm not too sore with this trade. I actually had some really good scalping trades on Nvidia. Came in here, took a scalping short at the 9 EMA and got out here. It tried to get up through these levels. It couldn't remain over them and got crushed down below VWAP. I went short again and I got out here. Then I went short again, averaged in, and I got out here. And then I went short again here because I thought, man, we're just going to continue to get a breakdown. I figured, Nvidia is obviously weak. It was not able to break back up and over the 30-50 levels. And if you look at the daily, it looked like it could make its move back down to the 9 EMA, which we see that it did, and it closed below it. So I went short again right here. Well, it started making a move up here. And then it went all the way up here. And I went ahead and got short again right here. So I brought my average all the way up to about right here. And I did end up taking a little bit of a loss. I got out here, but I had no clue that this was going to happen. And it's very unfortunate because as soon as I got out, this thing just started tanking. And I was like, man, talk about your timing being off. But look at what the SPY was doing at that time. And I was just very nervous about it. Guys, SPY's making all-time highs. SPY is making all-time highs. It's just ripping and roaring. And I knew that this level up here near 307 was going to be a critical area because of where is it? Is it back here? No, right here. Right here. No, excuse me. It's even further back than that. I think it was right here. Yeah, 307.19. I knew that 307.19 was going to be an important level for the SPY today. But when I saw that it had failed and was coming down, Nvidia was rolling over with it, and then I drew this trend line right here, right? And SPY came up, and it looked like it got rejected. It came right back down, breaking through all the moving averages, but then it came soaring right back up here. It broke through all the moving averages and broke through this trend line. And I thought to myself, man, SPY is just going to continue to make irrational moves to the upside. I'll bet it's going to test high of day, and it may even crush through that 307.10 level. So I just didn't want to take a chance in Nvidia bouncing off of VWAP and getting bought up with the SPY. I was already down on the day, so I just went ahead, like I said, I went ahead and got out, and I took maybe about a $20 loss. I think it was a $20 loss because I was up like 80, 90 bucks or something like that on Nvidia. So maybe it was just like a $10 loss. I don't know. It wasn't that much of a loss, guys. It was almost at my break-even point, like I said, but I just hate that I didn't hold on to it because, man, what an incredible move here that it ended up making. But hindsight's 2020, right? The fact of the matter is back to my original point, I had really good trade ideas today, but I was just the timing was off. The timing was just off. So I'll go through one more trade here. So and I will tell you, Facebook was a legit loss. AMD was, it was a pretty good trade. AMD continues to pay off for me, and I was actually wrong on this trade. But it came up here, and I saw that it was topping out, and I think somebody might have even called this top here in the live stream, but I went ahead and went short and got a really nice move down here, and then I went short again here just to average in. It started coming back on me, so I think I got out break even. But then over here at the end of the day, when the SPY was started to make the move down, I waited for a pullback, nice little pullback move here. I got short, and then I took nice profits off all the way down. So very happy with that move. I know I said I was only going to go over one more trade, but this will be the final trade today because mRNA, this is also one of those trades that I followed my rules on. I had set an alert and I followed my rules. Now I didn't follow them to the T, and I'll explain why. And it was because, again, I had this loss on MRSN, right? But I had set an alert for mRNA. I wanted to be alerted to mRNA once it hit $57. Why? Because as you can see here, $57 is where it starts kind of running into all this previous area of consolidation and what could be acting as resistance. But I knew that there was potential for it to get bought up all the way to roughly around $60. Why? Because here on the daily, we've got a lot of major moving averages there. $60, that $60 area is, there's a lot of previous area of support on the daily that could be acting as resistance. mRNA is weak. There's some kind of investigation going on with it right now. I just, so with the fundamentals, But again, mostly looking at the technicals and knowing that even this long trend line here, this long trend line would probably be respected. And $60 is a very critical whole number. You know, it's one of those psychological numbers. So I was planning on adding 50 shares every dollar all the way up to $60. You know, so maybe even 61. So I probably at one point would have had 150 to 200 shares with, you know, at maybe like a $59 average or something like that. But what I don't like about this is I got in my first 50 here and I waited $2 to add again. I waited a whole $2 to add my next 50 shares. Okay, and I basically called the top here. I basically called the top on that last 50 share add in. But I should have had 150 shares by the time it got up here. And why didn't I take that? Because again, you know, I was a little nervous. I was already down 163 on the day on MRSN. At Twitter at the time, I was down, you know, like $90. And so, you know, at this point, I was down like $256 on the day, and I just didn't want to risk much. I didn't feel like going through the motions with it. So I did follow my rules almost to the T, though. Again, the alert went off. I went ahead and took position, and I did add in here. You know, and it was a safer ad because, you know, being that I let it go a whole $2, I brought my average up a whole nother dollar. So it was a safer ad. I will say that. It was a safer ad. But technically, had I had those 150 shares, I would have probably taken my first take profit here, where I did end up taking my first take profit. But I probably would have waited for more of a move and a crack through VWAP. Okay, and maybe even a test of the 20-day moving average. And then I probably would have even sat in through the pullback here and maybe even gotten more out here. You know, just knowing me and how I trade, I probably would have even added in here. I would have been a little more aggressive. And so, you know, and I did add into my position some through here along the 9 EMA. And there was a lot of nice scalping going on through that area. And mRNA did turn out to be a good trade. But again, you know, had I not been shaken up from MRSN and Twitter, two stocks where I wasn't really using my head on as well as I should have been when trading, this trade on mRNA would have been much more successful. So again, had I followed my rules, I probably would have been more aggressive. And so today, I probably should be ending the day up, you know, probably a couple $100. And that's the difference, guys. That's the point that I'm trying to make with this, with today's video is, you know, when you follow your rules, the trading goes much better. As a matter of fact, why have I had a pretty long green streak? Because by and large, over the last several weeks, I've been following my rules. I haven't been taking chances. I haven't been throwing money at the wind. I have been following my rules. I set alerts. I look at the charts, the patterns. I do the pre-market research. I check the fundamentals, but I more so watch the charts. I watch the price action. I wait for the setup, and I typically follow my rules a lot better than this. You know, and so today is just, you know, it's kind of a slap on the wrist to me, you know, and this is what happens when you don't follow your rules. You lose out on your consecutive Green Day winning streak. But that's okay, because like I said, we can make a game out of this. And so now I got to break that record. 10 days is my record. And I am going to work towards that. I am going to make a commitment. I'm going to recommit to following my rules and doing much better when we come in here tomorrow. So anyway, hope you guys are finding value with these videos and this channel in general. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and consider joining us in the live stream. We stream live right here on the channel Monday through Friday, beginning roughly around 9 a.m. Would love to have you. And guys, have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow.